In light of a recent visit to Canada by Greta Thunberg, where she criticized Justin Trudeau, a new poll by Nanos confirms that young people are souring on the Prime Minister and they're gaining a lot of interest in Jagmeet Singh. This poll shows that the preferred Prime Minister for 18 to 29-year-olds is still Justin Trudeau as of now at least, but in 3 days alone, he is down 12 points among young people. And some people suggest that that's due to Greta Thunberg coming to Canada and criticizing him. It's due to the fact that despite Justin Trudeau marching in the parade, the reality is that those young people were protesting him and his government's actions, or his government's inactions, as it were, as it pertains to the climate. And it's crucial to note that while more than one leader made gains because of Trudeau's decline, Jagmeet Singh saw a big jump, almost 6 points in the same 3-day period, showing that increasingly young Canadians are looking to Singh and the NDP as their option. And it's no surprise why. Not only are they disappointed in Justin Trudeau, but I think they see a lot to like in Jagmeet Singh. They see a Green New Deal that speaks to, not only decarbonizing the economy, but finding a place for workers in that economy. To know that it's not just about lowering our footprint, but having good jobs, not just now, but in the future. The sort of good jobs young people need, and many young people don't have right now. It's also the case that Jagmeet Singh has been promoting policies that are vital to young people, policies that will improve labor law, policies that will help students, policies that will help young parents, policies that will end the criminalization of marginalized youth. All of these policies are coming from the NDP in a way they aren't coming from other parties. So for instance, Justin Trudeau has a bit of a policy to make it easier to buy your first home, but it's very arcane and many people suggest that it might have the opposite effect. Whereas Jagmeet Singh is committing towards, non-market public housing, in a broad plan to be built over the next 10 years, but with a front-loaded effect. Further, Jagmeet Singh is investing not just in, making it easier for you to defer your student loans, which the Liberals are doing to make it easier for you to defer your loans, say, when you have a baby, but the NDP is saying, we're going to cancel the interest on your student loans. Both upcoming student loans and existing student loans, there will be no more interest. Singh is saying, hey, how about we just ban interest forever so that you never become trapped in a debt spiral for improving your life, and that the federal government doesn't make a profit off poor and middle-income students. Further to that again is Jagmeet Singh just today promising the start of a national child care program, which over the next 10 years will lead to a universal public child care program. It'll be gradual at first, but it will, in the next decade, create a truly universal coast-to-coast child care program. And you better believe that child care costs are one of the most prohibitive things facing young Canadians as they start a family. And further to that again, while Justin Trudeau mused about Pharma Care, it's not really in the Liberals' platform. They sort of have it tucked away, but the reality is that there's no costing, and Justin Trudeau I don't think can be trusted at all to provide Pharma Care. Ever probably, but certainly not in the next 4 years if he gets to govern for them. Whereas Jagmeet Singh has said, look, we're going to provide Pharma Care for every Canadian and make it fully public. And in addition, we're going to have a dental care plan, which over the long term will become public and universal, but which at first will at the very least help low and middle income families, those making $70,000 to $90,000 a year, those households, which will help millions of Canadians. And I have to say that while it hasn't been sold specifically like this, those policies will be especially important for young people. Because as we know, for many, many years, our Medicare system has sort of ignored things like your medicine and your teeth, your physio and all those sorts of things. And one of the reasons why I think the system was able to do that was because enough people, at least, some people at least, had workplace benefits that covered them. That, you didn't have Medicare covering your pharmaceuticals, but your workplace did, if you had a good workplace benefits plan. But increasingly, young people especially don't get things like workplace benefits. They don't get pensions, they don't get dental, they don't get pharmaceutical coverage. They don't get their physio. They don't get any of that covered through supplemental plans because the gig economy doesn't offer benefits. Certainly not good benefits like their parents had. And so for more and more young people, whether they're freelancers or they're small business owners or they're, contingent workers, or even if they're permanent workers, but their employers just don't provide benefits because employers do that less and less, they need some way to get basic benefits. And a universal program that's designed to help people get those benefits is the best way to do it. It's good for small businesses. It's good for individual Canadians. It's good for our general health of the country. It's the right way to go, and Justin Trudeau's not providing that. And of course, this is all rooted in the fact that Justin Trudeau and his government, right from the beginning, told young people to embrace a life of precarity and insecurity, to embrace the job churn. I trust you remember that when Bill Morneau, the finance minister, basically said that, indicating to young people that this government will do nothing to preserve and expand the ideal of good jobs, that what our parents and grandparents had, or at least that they fought for, we should just give up without a thought, and we should never dare to dream of a stable, secure work life. We should never dare to dream. That's not a government that stands up for working and middle-class Canadians. That's a government that tries to normalize insecurity for the vast majority of millennials and the generation coming after millennials. And it's unacceptable. Jagmeet Singh and NDPers across the country are fighting to make work more amenable to the experiences of young people, making it easier to unionize, providing benefits whether or not you have a job, which means that you don't have to worry about, searching for a job based on the fact that they cover your medicine. You don't need to do that. These are all policies designed to help young people. And I think the NDP, in some ways more than any other, is providing the young people's platform. And of course, this ties in with Indigenous people, which is a young population in Canada. Indigenous populations are on average younger than many settler populations. And so when you fight for and with Indigenous people to build a better life in First Nations communities, it's also a program for young people, fighting for their education, fighting for their health, fighting for their housing. Those are plans to fight for young people. So whereas Justin Trudeau on many issues spent the last 4 years fighting Indigenous children in court who are fighting for nothing more than basic equality with settlers, the NDP is committing to a plan, a partnership of reconciliation with Indigenous people, which will above all be good news for children in those communities. So that's why I think young people are souring on Trudeau. It's the Greta Thunberg visit that exposed him for the duplicitous man he is. It's the photos that he took, which angered many Canadians, but I think young progressives were particularly disillusioned by them. It speaks to the fact that while he won so much support and energy from young people in 2015, he has not done nearly enough to improve their lives and help break down the barriers that they continue to face. And it's not just that they don't like Justin Trudeau. It's that increasingly from Jagmeet Singh, they see a program that speaks to the challenges and the hopes and the concerns and the ambitions of young Canadians. And they're saying, Justin Trudeau, we trusted you in 2015 and you betrayed that trust. And we have this young, exciting, courageous, hopeful, fun politician in Jagmeet Singh who is offering the young people's platform. And we're moving to him. Now, of course, the polling is just that. It's polling. Trends come, trends go, but I think this is a pretty significant one. And it would not surprise me that as this campaign goes on, young people all across this country embrace the Sing upswing and realize that the NDP more than any other party has their back. And I have to say this, there's always a concern about young people and voter turnout. I'm not going to pretend that isn't a thing. There's a fear that, winning support amongst young people is great, but they got to come to the polls to manifest it. But even if you're not a young person, if you're, a boomer or a Gen Xer, or you're a senior citizen who's watching this video or who's considering how to vote, and you're concerned about young people and their futures, you have to ask yourselves, what do the young people want? What are they envisioning right now? And maybe if you truly are concerned about what they want, what they fear, their hopes and dreams and desires, then maybe look at what they're supporting and maybe say, I'm going to throw my vote to the NDP as an act of solidarity with young people, to bring the vision that the next generation wants, to bring a vision of a better Canada. More and more every election, a new generation of young people is asserting its vision, and I think we're seeing that they want to move Canada in a progressive direction. I can only hope the rest of us share that vision and move with them.